All over the world, there are children today who have little to no access to basic necessities such as food, water, or an education. They're growing up in a world that is virtually hopeless. How can they dream of what they're going to grow up to be one day if they don't even know if they'll make it to tomorrow? The World Bank, an organization consisting of 190 countries, all committed to ending extreme poverty by 2030, conducted a study done in 2020 that said there are approximately 700 million people in extreme poverty today. Being in extreme poverty means that you're living on less than $1.90 a day. As Christians, we have a responsibility to support these poverty-stricken people. Proverbs 31:9 says, to open your mouth, to judge righteously, to defend the rights of the poor and needy. One way we can all do that is through child sponsorship. I personally have been sponsoring a child for the past 3 years. And it's been such an impactful experience, not only for the child and his community, but also for me as well. So today, I endeavor to convince you that the evangelical community should prioritize sponsoring children in third world countries to fulfill Christ's mandate to care for the poor. There are two main reasons why I believe this. The first is the benefit the entire community of that child receives through child sponsorship. And the second is the confidence we can have that the organizations like Food for the Hungry or World Vision, that they are stewarding our resources well when we donate through child sponsorship. So to begin, I want to talk about the benefit the entire community receives when we sponsor a child. There's often a misconception that when you sponsor a child, all of that money goes solely to that child. This is not the case, and I'm very thankful for that because it would cause a severe imbalance in his community and possibly even endanger the child himself or herself. So what actually happens is organizations like Food for the Hungry or World Vision will go into an impoverished community and they will start to impact the entire community as a whole instead of just focusing on a few specific individuals. Food for the Hungry believes that when communities are equipped and trained to care for their most vulnerable, this lifts up the entire community and poverty can be overcome. Food for the Hungry's website also says that the FH staff works with churches, leaders, and families to create a development plan in your sponsored child's community. This plan equips each family and community to adequately provide for each child's needs. A few simple ways in which they do this is through clean water, food, medical aid, equal educational opportunities for both boys and for girls. And the last one is vocational training for adults as well. So just through these 5 simple things, a poverty-stricken community can really be lifted up and they can actually have opportunities to go somewhere, to live out their dreams. So now that we've looked a little bit at how the entire community is supported through child sponsorship, I want to look at how the organizations that we support, how they steward our resources, and if we can trust them to do that. There's often skepticism when donating to charities or nonprofits from questions like, are they really going to use my money for what they said they were going to use it for? Or even as far as, is this a front and they're trying to swindle people out of their money? But these organizations are well aware of these questions and that makes them wary of them, and they want to be as transparent as possible with all their financials. I have pulled these pie graphs from Food for the Hungry and World Vision's websites. And as you can see, they show us exactly everything that they spend their funding on. So both organizations, over 80% goes to those programs. Those 5 things I was talking about that are lifting the community out, over 80% of the funding is going to those. About 10% goes to additional fundraising, and the last 5% is for the administrative work of the nonprofit as well. These organizations also submit themselves to additional accountability through qualified institutions such as the Evangelical Council for Financial Accountability and another organization called Charity Watch. Food for the Hungry even received the Platinum Seal of Transparency, which is the highest award given for nonprofits and charities. So now that I've showed you just a little bit of how the entire community is benefited through child sponsorship and the confidence we can have in nonprofits like Food for the Hungry and World Vision, that they're stewarding our resources well, I want to show you why this is important to me, why this topic means so much to me. This is my boy Jacinto. He's 10 years old and he's from Mozambique. I've gotten the privilege to sponsor him for the past 3 years, and it's been such a privilege to watch how he's grown. My favorite part is that we get to send letters back and forth. He'll often tell me what his new favorite hobbies are, what he's learning in school, and draw me pictures. He's so creative, and I love that. If Food for the Hungry were not in his community, he would not have the opportunity to have a childhood that is full of joy, laughter, and an education. As I mentioned before, many children are so focused just on surviving that they don't know, or that they can't even dream. They don't know what they could grow up to be one day. We can change that through child sponsorship. As Christians, we have a responsibility to care for the poor. And as I've shown here, child sponsorship is not only a way we can do that, but it is effective and it's secure as well. So as I close today, I want to share with you Food for the Hungry's motto. Let's end poverty together.